we are gonna make jelly rolls. To make our jelly rolls, we are gonna do a chiffon sponge cake. A chiffon sponge cake's a pretty easy one. What makes it sponge is that we've separated out our yolks and our whites. We're gonna foam our whites, and that's gonna be part of our leavening. In the meantime, we're gonna use our yolks and start a base cake batter. And that's what we're gonna fold our whites into. So let me put this aside. First thing we gotta do is sift our cake flour. So cake flour is almost always lumpy. So if the recipe doesn't say to sift it anyway. Pastry flour, I'd rely on the recipe to tell me, and bread flour, you almost never need to sift that. So we need to sift our cake flour, our baking powder. So this is 200 grams of cake flour, 8 grams of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and about 75 grams of sugar. The recipe itself calls for 200 grams of sugar. 1/3 of that goes in the base batter. So I'm gonna take my egg yolks, so 4 of them, 80 mils of veg oil. I'm gonna mix these very well. I'm gonna use a hand blender, a hand mixer, because I'm gonna use my KitchenAid for my whites. So I'll start slow because I don't wanna wear it. Perfect, that's all you need. This is 120 mils of room temperature water. And I'm gonna add about half a tablespoon of vanilla, and I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I usually go a big bloop for a tablespoon, so I'll go a short bloop. There we go. So again, I'll go kind of slow. There we go, that's all we need. I just don't wanna wear it, so I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna put this aside over my bowl, and then I'm going to sift my flour mix directly into here. Okay, I'm gonna mix this until it just gets wet. So not go too hard. Just get this all wet here. All right, now I'm gonna mix it on high. That's about it. So I don't want to over-mix it. I just want a quick little mix there. And that is my base. So let's clean this up. With egg whites, there's a couple things you need to consider. The first one is that egg whites can have no fat in them. So you have to have a completely clean bowl, completely clean whisk. There needs to be no yolks in it because that fat's going to inhibit the amount it will whip up. So you need it to be completely fat-free. Another thing is room temperature egg whites also whip up better. Cold will, but room are better. And I like to, when I want mine glossy, I like to start by mixing my egg whites until they're nice and frothy. So I don't even add any sugar until my egg whites are frothy. So right about now, this is what I mean by frothy. I'm starting to get some volume. It still looks quite wet. It doesn't look dry, like there's a lot of air in it. So I'm gonna add on 125 grams of sugar. That's the remainder of my 200. And I'm gonna bring it up to full speed, and I'm gonna whip it until it's, soft peaks. I'm not done. I just want to show you the properties have changed in the egg whites. It's no longer foamy and it's starting to get a high gloss. And as it whisks around, if you look carefully, you can actually see folds throughout the whites. Now is the time I can't walk away. I have to watch it because it can over-whip very easily. Seeing a lot of ribbons, I just want to check my peak, or sometimes I call them comets. Yeah, this is very, very soft. So it's not a peak at all. Like there's a little bit standing up, but it's not exactly what we want. So I'm gonna put it in a few more seconds and I'll just check it second by second. But I'm very, very close to being done. So I'm getting there. If you see my peaks are close. It's getting to the texture of a melted marshmallow, and that's when we know we're very close. like a soft comma. Now I'm going to be able to fold the two together. All right, so this is my original cake mixture. There's a little bit of whites in there for me resting my container in there, my spatula in there. I'm going to start slowly. I'm going to go in about, I like to go in thirds. It's a good easy measurement to remember. I'm going to take the first third and I'm just going to carefully mix it in, and then once it gets lighter and airier, it'll be easier for me to mix the rest in. So first third, if I lose some of my air, I'm not going to be that sad. All right, so that's mixed in nicely. Let's do my second third. So I'm going to be a little more careful now. I really don't want to pop all those teeny tiny bubbles I worked so hard to add to my egg whites. That looks wonderful, and let's add the last bit. All right, this looks pretty good. I'm going to grab my pan. I'm going to put on this sheet pan that's just lined on the bottom of the parchment. I'm not going to spray the sides at all. What I wanted to do is leave the sides bare, and as the cake climbs, it will stick to the sides and it'll assist in the leavening. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that it is all over and not just in one spot. That'll help me in the end. All right, let's spread this all the way to the corners. I'm just going to try to even it out a bit. And I'm going to try to give it a couple of taps to get some of those bigger bubbles out. Alright, I'm going to get this in for about 17 minutes for cake this size, and then afterwards I'll show you a trick to rolling it nicely. Alright, my sponge cake is out of the oven, well hot. I need to work on it. So immediately I'm going to cut it from the sides. Sprinkle a little bit of white sugar on top. A piece of parchment on top. Then I'm going to put my cutting board on top of that. From here, I'm going to flip the whole thing over. And bring it over to my bench. While hot, I need to roll this up. If I don't roll it up while hot, I have a bigger risk of it cracking. And it might crack on me anyway, so let's hope for the best here. All right, I'm just gonna let it sit like this for a few minutes before I unroll it and add my top. I'll just put something on the end to weight it. There we go. So I'm gonna let it sit like this for a little bit, and then I'll add my jelly. All right, my cake has rested maybe somewhere around 20 minutes. I'm gonna very carefully unwrap it because I do not want it to crack. Whew, looks good. I'm gonna add some of this. Oh, I got a crack forming right here. Let's be fast here. I'm gonna add some of this rhubarb and vanilla bean jelly I made. Less is more when it comes to filling a jelly roll. You don't want it to be too full, because then it comes out the side and it's actually not very nice. And we want to get it about maybe 1.5 to 2 inches away from the end here. Looks good. I'm just gonna slowly roll it up now, only this time without the parchment. And hopefully it hasn't completely cracked on me. Oh, there's the one crack I knew about. And there we go. There's my jelly roll. I'm gonna cut off some of the cracked ends, and I'll cut a couple slices for you. All right, I'll just cut off right here where it's cracked. aside. There you go. So here's my jelly roll. I rolled it up when it was really piping hot. First I put some granulated sugar on top so I wouldn't lose all of it, like I did a little bit here. And then I rolled it while it was very hot, and then it cooled in a way that was easier for me to roll it up. I had a couple of cracks, but it's not a big deal. And there you go, jelly roll. This is lovely with the whipping cream. This is lovely with the pastry cream. This is lovely with anything. Lemon curd is great. This is just lovely. I really hope you make this yourself and let me know how it turns out. Thank you.